The late January dusk cloaked the Redstone Plains in a brittle, crystalline frost, the 200-acre Texas ranch stirring beneath a vast sky streaked with deep sapphires, molten oranges, and fleeting threads of silver that burned at the horizon like a fading ember, the lake a glassy expanse of liquid frost reflecting the fading light. Its surface shivering under a frigid breeze that sliced through the frost-crusted grasses, carrying the sharp scent of frozen pine, damp earth, the musky tang of cattle huddled in their pens, and a faint curl of wood smoke from the ranch house's hearth. Wildflowers, locked in sparse, defiant patches of yellow and purple along the water's edge, their petals encased in glittering ice, trembled against a cold that gripped their brittle stems. Ancient oaks stood as unyielding sentinels, their gnarled branches swaying in a slow, mournful dance, casting jagged shadows across the frost-glazed earth, their bark etched with the scars of countless winters. But at the heart of the ranch, beneath the redstone oak where the plains converged in a gentle rise, John Parker, a rugged 54-year-old cowboy in a weathered Stetson, stood rooted, his boots crunching the frost with a brittle snap. As a seismic pulse tore through the silence, a quantum horizon oblivion core, its towering, obsidian frame erupting from the soil like a malignant wound, its apex flaring with a corrosive ruby glow as it sought to consume the verdant Nexus's radiant core, a blazing fusion of sapphire, amethyst, and topaz light surging beneath the oak, linking the northwest, northeast, southeast, and nascent western nodes in a pulsating web that thrummed with raw, resurgent power. Victor Drake descended from a black armored helicopter landing on the rise, its blades slashing the air with a relentless roar, his tailored suit a stark silhouette against the wild terrain. His voice booming over the core's pulse with cold, apocalyptic fury. "The Nexus is mine, Parker, Redstone's dust by dawn." John drew his revolver with a swift, practiced motion, the cold steel steady in his calloused hand, firing a shot that sparked off the core's casing with a sharp clang, the sound reverberating across the plains like a thunderclap. His growl cutting through the icy air. "You're on my land, Drake. Rip that core out or I'll bury you with its shards." Sarah Bennett raced from the barn, her breath fogging in the freezing air, her boots skidding on frosted gravel, rifle cocked and raised, her shout piercing the chaos. "They're swallowing the Nexus." Frank Hensley charged down from the ridge, his bulk heaving under a heavy coat, shotgun grip tight, his voice a thunderous bellow, quantum's betting it all. The air crackled with defiance, desperation, and the raw edge of survival. A swarm of quantum drones buzzing low, their sleek black shells glinting like polished obsidian, ruby lasers slashing through the frost with surgical precision, searing the ground into steaming scars. The lake's frosted glow dimmed beneath a roiling cloud of dust, frost, and unrelenting menace, the wildflowers trembling, their roots deep in the Texas soil. The past days had been a relentless forge after the Nexus's ascendant rise, Redstone's gates fortified with steel, chain, and unyielding resolve. The sign, "Redstone endures, permission only," a resolute marker of John's unbreakable will. The co-op's railway hummed with shipments of winter barley, pecans, wheat, kale, oats, rye, and early sorghum, their steel tracks glinting under a pale January sun. Clara May's silo gleamed with fresh paint, its silhouette a symbol of rebirth against the frost-dusted horizon. Steve and the Enclave patrolled tractorway with quiet vigilance, their lanterns swaying like fireflies along the gravel path, casting pools of warm light on the icy ground. Tessa and Ethan rigged tin can alarms with fierce determination, their small hands tugging at twine, their chatter a defiant spark in the bitter cold. Dakota prowled the trails with ears pricked, his heeled legs strong, his low growls a warning to any shadow that lingered. Michelle knitted scarves by the hearth, the soft click of needles blending with the fire's crackle, a fleeting comfort against the storm. But the verdant Nexus's resurgent power burned in John's gut like a relentless blaze. Lena Carter's ledger, its pages brittle, ink faded but urgent, mapping the node's convergence into a nexus, with whispers of a western node confirmed by Dr. Elalina Chin's detectors spiking during a midnight sweep. "The Nexus is resurgent. It's claiming new ground," Chin warned, her glasses fogging as she recalibrated the device under lantern light, Lena adding, "Quantum's cornered. They'll burn everything to stop it." John's eyes narrowed, his jaw tightening as he leaned against the barn's weathered wall. "They'll throw hell itself. New tech, old grudges." Sarah beside him, her rifle slung over her shoulder, nodded grimly. Drake's got Vance, Eli's the pivot. That dusk, riding out to the oak after Jess's tip of a quantum surge. The frost stinging his face, the cold biting at his knuckles through his gloves. He'd caught the core's pulse rising like a beast's roar, a storm shattering the fragile peace he'd clawed back. The wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. The confrontation erupted into a chaotic, apocalyptic maelstrom, the drones descending in a merciless swarm. Their sleek shells glinting like polished obsidian in the fading light, ruby lasers searing the ground with ruthless precision, frost melting into blackened, steaming scars that smoked in the cold. John dodged a beam that grazed his coat, the heat singeing the leather, rolling behind a frost-covered boulder with a grunt, his heart pounding, his revolver barking as he fired. The shot cracking a drone's hull with a satisfying crunch, sending it spiraling into the frost in a plume of dust and sparks. Sarah shouted over the deafening din. "Protect the Nexus. It's their last play." Her rifle spitting fire, its report echoing off the rise, another drone tumbling, its wreckage crunching against the frozen ground. Frank's shotgun roared like a thunderclap, a third drone exploding midair, shrapnel raining down like jagged hail. Matt and Tom flanked from the ridge, their boots slipping on the icy incline. Rifles blazing in a relentless cacophony of defiance. Hold, M off, keep, M from the oak. Victor remained unfazed, barking orders from the rise with a cold, predatory sneer. His operatives fanning out in tactical precision, their black gear stark against the frost-dusted plains. A disruptor thudded into the dirt near the oak, its sleek casing humming with a high-pitched wail that fractured the Nexus's light into jagged, flickering shards. Lena sprinted from the barn, her breath fogging, her boots slipping on loose gravel. The verdant tablet clutched tight, its symbols glowing with eerie intensity. "They'll consume the web. Stop it now," her voice raw with panic. John aligned the regulation key, its etched runes flaring with a burst of radiant light, a shockwave rippling outward through the frost, the disruptor shorting with a sharp crackle and a puff of acrid smoke. But Victor's laugh echoed, chilling and triumphant. "You're finished, Parker. The plains are ours, the core's ruby glow intensifying, the Nexus's light wavering like a heart in distress." Hank's co-op truck roared up, gravel spraying. "We're here, Quantum's all in." Matt shouted, "They've got rigs north." Tom fired, "We're pinned," the wildflowers trembling, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Midday brought a co-op council at Clara May's ranch, the air thick with tension, the bitter tang of burnt coffee mingling with the bite of frost. The porch creaking under 70 farmers. Hank paced. "Nexus is ours. Quantum's desperate. Clara May firm. Parker's our rock." Lila, now Quantum's pawn, snarled, "He's death. $300,000 to ditch him." Roy countered, "They'll gut us," Jed added. "My kids starve if we fold," Mary shouted. "Drones hit my barn." Cal grumbled, "Pump's gone." John stood steady. "Unity's our blade." Sarah showed Vance's tablet, Drake's orders to sabotage. Chin warned, "Nexus is spawning new nodes. It could reshape the world." Lila bolted, "I'm done." Hank roared, "She's poison." Jess vowed, "I'm solid." The vote teetered, the wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Afternoon saw Lila's trap, Vance at the north field. Drake wants the co-op crushed. John intercepted. "Lila, you're finished." Lila sneered, "You're dust." Eli emerged, blade glinting. "John, stop." John pleaded, "Break free. Eli, we're brothers." Eli faltered, eyes tormented. "Drake's got me chained." Then fled, his duster flapping. Sarah noted, "He's cracking." Jess proved loyalty. Vance meets at dawn, West Ridge. The wildflowers trembled, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Night unleashed Quantum's counterstrike, a convoy hitting the west, drones torching a shed, flames roaring skyward. John and the Ridge Riders raced over, Dakota snarling. Michelle with Tessa and Ethan signaling, red flares. John doused the blaze with a hose, water hissing, steam rising. Frank tackled an operative Eli again, his blade flashing. "Drake's dog." Frank growled. Eli, pinned, whispered, "It's bigger than you know," then broke free, vanishing into the dark. The western node pulsed faintly, Chin shouting, "The Nexus is growing." The wildflowers endured, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Dawn brought a reckoning, Jess leading John to Vance's meet at the West Ridge, a trap foiled when Hank's patrol flanked the operatives. Their rifles glinting. Vance fled, cursing, "Drake'll end you." John nodded to Jess. "You're Redstone now." The co-op tightened, Mary baking cornbread for patrols, fuel for the fight. The wildflowers trembling, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Mid-morning revealed a new pulse. Chin's detectors spiking near the southwest. The Nexus is birthing another node. Lena poring over the ledger. "It's alive," John, guiding us. Sarah scouted the southwest, finding faint sapphire glimmers. "It's small, but strong." The plains whispered of resurgence. The wildflowers trembling, their roots deep in the Texas soil. John gathered the family at dusk by the redstone oak, the Nexus a radiant glow beneath, bourbon warming his hand. The frost crunching underfoot. Sarah sat beside him, Eli's slipping, "Drake's losing him." Lena added, "The Nexus is more, maybe it's choosing us." Frank joined. "West locked, next fight's ours." Michelle, with Tessa and Ethan, smiled. "They're tougher than the frost." John nodded, his voice steady. "Redstone holds, always will." The stars pierced the cold sky, the plains roaring defiance. The wildflowers trembling, their roots deep in the Texas soil.